Do you ever feel confused when thinking about settling down with the right person? Or have you ever felt annoyed when asked about your marriage plans? If so, you may have experienced a psychological phenomenon called gamophobia, the fear of lifelong commitment. Whatever the reason, we know that sometimes it's good to feel these things, because only when we have the right attitude can we overcome the fear in front of us. Many people feel indifferent about marriage or a deep relationship with their partner, but the feeling of indifference and insensitivity is completely different from fear. And gamophobia is the name of the above psychological effect. Gamophobia in Greek refers to marriage and is so phobic that it turns into fear. So, gamophobia translates as fear of marriage or fear of commitment. It's not just reluctance, but also a real fear, causing our psychology to become deeply obsessed with a certain phenomenon or type of person. However, gamophobia belongs to the category of simple phobia. Simple phobias have a specific focus, so they are also called specific phobias. There are actually hundreds of simple phobias. They are also the most common type of phobia. The American Psychiatric Association estimates that up to 9% of Americans have simplex phobia. Even though we know that this psychological phenomenon can completely be improved and cured. But how can we overcome fear when facing a big event in life like marriage, whether experiencing social upheaval or witnessing some changes in life values? Marriage has survived as an institution in the West. The truth is that people continue to get married despite their constant worries. However, for some people, getting married or making a long-term commitment to them has become an extremely terrifying obsession. Especially in today's modern society, independent and self-reliant ideas have made many people even more afraid of getting married. During these years, the rate of people getting married has decreased significantly, and even the divorce rate among married couples is increasing rapidly. Many people accept the choice to live a single life and are happy about it. According to experts, the rate of fear of marriage in women will be higher than in men, based on the results of a survey conducted in 2019 with 69,108 participants. The results found that more than 66% of women expressed fear and anxiety about marriage, while for men, only about 34%. Currently, the community's understanding of psychological issues is still limited. Therefore, people with a fear of marriage will encounter many troubles in life. Specifically, people around you will constantly mention marriage and romantic relationships. This causes the patient to face persistent anxiety, fear, and phobias. In fact, phobias are real anxiety disorders. They are a strong, irrational fear of something that actually poses little or no physical danger. The trigger of agoraphobia can be anything. This includes animals, people, objects, activities, or environments. In the specific case we mention here, it is the fear of marriage or long-term commitment. Although people with phobias understand their fear is irrational, They feel helpless when faced with it. Sometimes they are really difficult to tame and impossible to control. Some of us cannot even see a married couple without these devastating emotions. As with any other specific phobia, gamophobia is also caused by intense negative experiences in the past. It hurts the suffering individual to such an extent that someone is extremely afraid to enter into marriage and make a long-term commitment. A person who creates negative images or still has mental movies about marriage will be the main cause. Past relationships are also part of the reason for the onset of gamophobia. Experiencing toxic relationships, like parents often arguing and then divorcing in the past, and someone else's infidelity, can also contribute to our fear of getting too deep into a new relationship. Usually, genetic factors, a tendency to anxiety or stress, are also the main factors causing gamophobia. According to Marisa Nathan Gerson, author of the book Forget Prayers, Bring Cake said, trauma can be transmitted in many ways, from our genetics to dinner table conversations. Some experts in the medical community suggest that intergenerational trauma is caused by the stress of living with a traumatized person, or who can still live after horrifying events. Others argue that intergenerational trauma causes children to become unwanted vessels of their parents' pain. The reason they have the potential to become a genetic effect is because they are not resolved or significantly affect a person's life. It can be passed on to some people's children and then their children for many generations. A typical example in this case is the analysis of the relationship between parents and children. Parents who have survived horrific trauma may carry with them constant fear, anxiety, and a chronically dysregulated nervous system. This can affect the way parents interact with their children, leading to an insecure attachment style. This insecure attachment style then makes the child feel fearful and unable to trust the world. Or when parents live in a repressive or toxic environment, those things will be passed on to their children through the interactive process. Whether the cause comes from ourselves or external factors, if there is no specific intervention, our psychology will likely form a state of fatigue and even distortion regarding marriage. In addition, fear of marriage also causes us to avoid many problems in life. From there, it significantly affects study and work performance. Furthermore, it is often difficult for people around us to accurately grasp our attitudes and emotions, which leads to many unfortunate conflicts. Therefore, people with gamophobia syndrome often have few friends and are afraid to associate with others. Many people suffer from loneliness and avoid emotional relationships and do not open up to those around them. Statements like, "I am not suitable for a married life," "I'm not ready to get married," or "I feel scared to be bound by marriage," frequently expressed by people suffering from gamophobia syndrome. These are certainly signs that they are trying to run away from marriage and feel scared about this issue. As shared above, after witnessing or directly experiencing the pain of marriage, makes many people feel disgusted and afraid of getting married. Many people lose faith in love, or they just want to live a free life with the person they love, not wanting to be long-term and bound to anyone. However, these worries may only last for a while. Once they calm down, they can still think about getting married and having a happy married life. However, for people with gamophobia syndrome, it is different. They will always have a strong fear of marriage. Even the thought of being with someone makes them feel scared. Loss of control and extreme insecurity are accompanied by a series of physical symptoms. Until now, there have not been any conclusions or studies about this by psychologists about whether fear of marriage has a negative impact on the lives of individuals and communities. Therefore, if not being married and living independently does not make you feel uncomfortable or encounter any difficulties, don't worry too much. However, in the opposite case, if we always wish and desire to have a warm family, but our subconscious always feels afraid and insecure about marriage issues, so we need to pay attention and seek help. Some useful techniques that we can apply include writing a diary, using relaxation therapy, focusing on your current life, using medication or hypnotherapy is also necessary. Managing gamophobia is relatively easy because it is a social disorder and can be overcome if we adopt a positive attitude and apply the right treatment method. We can always learn to take care of ourselves after a breakup, always love ourselves, and spend time meeting many people. Let's try to be sincere and open to accept all challenges around us. Whatever choice we make will not affect how we love and care for ourselves.